So hello again, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the second installment of the Bear Beer Reviews. Now, I promised you in the last video I was going to bring you some stonking beer, and how about this for a great beer? This is Mikkeller 1000IBU. Now, you might have heard about this beer. It is a beer that has touted that it has broken through the barrier of the International Bittering Unit. It's widely considered that 100 IBU is the maximum that you could be able to taste. This one has a theoretical value of 1000 IBUs, brewed with enough hops to give you 10 times as much bittering. This beer is brewed by the fantastic Mikkeller boys, who are well renowned for making some really extreme and out there brews. I really recommend you go and have a look at their website and see what they've been brewing around. They've got a fantastic little brewery you can go visit out in Copenhagen in Denmark as well. Really recommend you go have a look. Really recommend you try some of their beers. So, as you can probably tell, it comes in a fantastic little paper case with a little wonderful rubber with hops, if I can hold that up. Hops on the side. And I've just done a little cut there because I realised halfway through that I wanted to try and preserve such a beautiful wrapper. So I've taken that wrapper off and revealed the bottle underneath. And it is exactly the same as the wrapper on the outside. It also has the same writing on the back, which I believe, and this is in my best Danish, says a double Imperial India Pale Ale brewed with hops, water, hops, malt, hops, yeast, and hops. So quite a little beer, witty little beer though. It's 375 millilitres. It's 9.6% alcohol, so it's got a pretty good kick to it. But that's what you expect from an Imperial IPA, and it says on the back IBU of 1000 as well. So let's try and crack this fella open, and we shall see what it smells like. Right, hold it up to the camera again, see if we can't see some of the wonderful smoky gases escaping from the top. Oh, I messed that one up a bit. Oh, and I missed it. But it doesn't matter. There wasn't too much coming from the top, and there isn't indeed much in the way of head brewing from the top of the bottle. So I shall pour out, and we shall see what we get. Okay, so I've poured it out, and as you can see, we've got a nice couple of finger head on there. It's a wonderful dark colour going on there. It is cloudy as anything, and there's tons and tons of bubbles and legs in coming up the sides of the glass. I'm going to go in for a bit of aroma, give it a good sniff. Oh wow, it's a really yeasty smell going on there, which kind of surprised me. I thought this was going to be a lot more tropical, a lot more hops going on, but it is there's a lot more yeast and malt going on there, almost a caramelly aroma to it. Yeah, a real caramel aroma, and not so much of, you expect with 1000 IBU and how much hops. I believe they used over 6 kilograms of this stuff like Simcoe per brew, so this is a lot of hops going into this beer. I shall give it a good taste, and we'll see what we get out of it then. Now, that really is quite surprising. As controversial as it may sound, this is nowhere near as bitter as I was expecting. That's not particularly disappointment, but it's certainly not the most astringent beer I've ever tasted. And for a beer that has theoretically 1000 IBU, it's almost a little bit disappointing, I suppose. There's definitely a really bitter flavour going on there. It's an Imperial IPA. I expect that to come from this. And if you're not into your hops, if you're not into a bitter flavour, this isn't going to be a beer that you're going to like. But having said that, I think I've tried other Imperial IPAs that have probably beaten this one in how bitter they taste. So having said that, what else is surprising is on that first sip, I got that hit of hops and something like piney resin and a little bit of citrus coming through, but a real depth of body of malt, of caramelly malt, a really good tasty, remarkably balanced beer considering it is meant to be such a heavy hoppy beer. So I'll go in for it again and we'll see if we can draw out any more flavours, have another wash over the palate. Again, there's a really fantastic malty flavour going on. Really not expecting. It really is a fantastically balanced beer. And really congratulations to the Mikkeller boys, I guess, for producing such a beer that is clearly brewed with a lot of passion. To be trying to put, and to indeed put so much hops into a beer really shows that they've tried their best to balance it out as well. Maybe when they first brewed it, 6 kilograms of hops was perhaps a little bit too much, and they've tried to combat that with malty flavour. I mean, one of the things that you'll notice is that a more malty beer will taste less bitter. So, for example, a traditional English bitter might have not a huge amount of malts in it, but only maybe 30 to 50 IBUs, but tastes a lot more bitter, a lot more sour than, say, an Imperial stout, which has got so much chocolate malt, so much roasted malt, that they have to use a lot of hops, put a lot of IBU into beer to be able to get any kind of hoppy flavour out of it. And perhaps that's what they've done with this. To be able to get such a high IBU, they've used a lot of malt as well, which has led to a fantastically, wonderfully balanced beer. I said at the start that I tasted a lot of yeast in it as well. There's a real fruity yeast kind of flavour that comes through, and I like my Belgian beers, and they are the masters of using yeasty flavours. You know, their beers are dominated by the yeast that they use, and I wonder if Mikkeller's almost chosen a special yeast for this because it's a fantastically fruity one that has added to the kind of grapefruit and pine and resiny flavour that you get. I might add as well as the flavour, the bitterness has continued on now, and I still get a taste of malt at the back of the throat as well. But particularly my tongue feels coated in the resin from the beer. Overall, I guess I'd say this is a fantastically balanced ale. Don't let the funky bottle and the gimmick of 1000 IBU confuse you or turn you away. This is probably a fantastic way of getting into the true Imperial IPAs and maybe moving on to stuff like the Brewdog Hardcore IPA, Lagunitas one, or the Rogues. Is it Bad Bitter, which is that really. But if you want a bitter beer, if you really want to taste what drinking a hop steeped in water for hours and hours on end is going to taste like, I really go for a Rogue one. I'll maybe put in the annotation the name of that beer because I can't remember off the top of my head. But wow, what an interesting beer. So thank you once again for tuning in. Press like, click subscribe, and all that jazz if you fancy hearing more from me in the future. And bottoms up. Cheers, guys.